Hey guys, it's John, and welcome back inside the Vintage Geek's toy room. No, this isn't going to be a singing episode. This is just a funny beginning. Here's some Stargate figures and the glider, the winged glider in there. And I got the box down here, hiding out. And today, oh, what's today? Today is something really cool that I think a lot of you guys have been waiting for, because you heard online on Twitter that I had received a couple of big boxes of these from one of the neighbors. Going through it all, and the neighbor got me addicted, so I've got a few of these ordered on eBay already to fill out the collection, because this stuff is cool. This is awesome, and we're going to go through this stuff today. But today, I think we're going to leave the ships, because those are super special, and they need videos of all their own. But today, maybe we'll go through all the action figures that I have so far. But first, let's do another recommendation. Another great YouTube channel to check out is Sean Solo 8. He is really cool. I like Sean. We met over Twitter and YouTube here. And he's got some really cool videos up. The one with the Slave One that he did recently is top notch. Really got to check out that one. If you haven't seen the Slave One yet, look at his video on it, and you will be blown away. Cool guy. So we'll go through all these things. Like I said, we're going to pick out the action figures first. But they came out with... This was a weird set. It came out with Matchbox first, then Harmony Gold from Japan, and then Playmates put them out through their Exo Squad Robotech line. And they all had the exact same mold. So by the time they got to the Exo Squad, it seems really weird, because Exo Squad were like 3-inch figures, 2.5 to 3-inch tall, where these are 3.75-inch figures. So it's kind of a strange mashup with them. But this has been a strange mashup all the way along. So all the figures here are kind of in this style. They're very much like a G.I. Joe figure. And they had these helmets. All the helmets seem pretty much the same, at least for the good guys, just painted differently. And this one's really yellowed. This is Rick Hunter. Sorry. I don't know why I was stuck on his name. Rick Hunter. And Rick Hunter was basically the main character of Robotech. And I'm trying to get the gun out of his hand. This gun must have been... This is why he didn't lose this particular gun. He lost all the other weapons, but did not lose this weapon because it was permanently stuck in his hand. And maybe that explains why this one was still wearing the helmet, even though he's all yellowed and gross. Of course, this could have been the first Rick Hunter you ever got, because for some reason, instead of getting the other pilots, he's got a million Rick Hunters. So the heads move like a G.I. Joe guy. The arms go up and down. They go all the way around. They have the Kung Fu grip swivel there. They bend at the elbow. He feels really delicate. You've got the joint there, the rubber band joint. Screw in the back, just like a G.I. Joe figure. The waist, he's got the legs that go up now, and the bending knees there. But he feels a lot more delicate than an old G.I. Joe figure. Like, this guy really feels like he could break at any moment, where some G.I. Joe figures seem pretty robust. And here you can see a good, clean, white suit Rick Hunter. So you can tell that one was well played with. It faded for some reason. Maybe he had it outside a lot. But for some reason, he got all these other Rick Hunters and kept them all white and didn't use the helmets on them. So we got a lot of Rick Hunters here. But I think a couple of these are really nice shape, really good paint on them. Like I said, Rick Hunter was the main character of the good guys. He was the one all the girls were after. Min-May and Lisa were after him. Min-May. These were like there's 3 different date stamps I've noticed on a lot of these guys, or at least from doing some research online. There's a possible 3, because you can get some from Matchbox, some from Playmates, and some from Harmony Gold in Japan. So they'll have a Matchbox China or they'll have a Matchbox / Harmony Gold Japan, or they'll have a Playmates stamp. And most of mine seem to be Matchbox China, but I do have 1 or 2 that are Harmony Gold Matchbox Japan. So it's kind of interesting to see the differences there. But yeah, overall, pretty cool looking characters. Similar to G.I. Joe style, so it's not, I'm going to give this nice, pristine white one the helmet and the gun, because that's how I am. I want all the equipment on a nice looking figure, not on the old one. But yeah. Let's go through a packaging here. We'll do a packaging real quick. So his grandmother or mother, I don't remember, was his grandmother or mother, one of them that was telling me this stuff. On the phone, she said that when he got duplicates or something he didn't like, he kept it in the package. So he did, which was true. He had 2 of these still in the packaging. And clearly it's probably because he didn't like the character as much. Because we got Zor Prime here, Robotech Master's enemy. Because he opened up all the Rick Hunters. So he must have liked that character a lot. Or maybe he just thought he was a generic pilot. I don't know. Kind of like the Luke X-Wing pilot. Could be used as a generic pilot for Star Wars. But what's really weird is look at the leg, the part of the bubble on the leg here. It's in a V shape. So he's not just accidentally thrown in the box that way. His legs are that way on purpose. So that's kind of a weird design choice, in my opinion. And they all had a gun. There's a weapon over here. Pardon me, sorry. It's early in the morning. I need drink. Back of the packaging here, pretty cool. We got the whole good guy force. Collect the entire line of Robotech action figures and mecha. The RDF, we want you for the RDF, we're the good guys. And then all the enemies here on the back. And we got one interesting thing. Miriya is good guy and bad guy. What? There are good guy and bad guy versions of her. So when she defects, you have the other version, which is pretty cool. And yeah. Oh, and there were 6-inch guys in the bad guys too. Veritech, Exodor, Khyron, and Dolza were 6-inch guys. They all had these little file cards like G.I. Joe, but simpler. Zor Prime, Bioroid Pilot. Zor Prime is a classic example of the unpredictability of the cloning process created by the Robotech masters from genes of the original Zor, the father of Robotech. Zor Prime is the last hope of the desperate Robotech hierarchy to regain the secrets of robotechnology and the production of protoculture, which the original Zor took with him to the grave. The plan backfires as Zor Prime becomes obsessed with destroying the entire Robotech Masters society. And these ones are Matchbox, Robotech on the back. And yeah, he also had a Robotech Master, which looked like he got at KB. Maybe his parents picked him up a few extra figures at KB when they were 4 for $1, and he just didn't open a couple of them. And, so it was like late in his collection, and that's why they're still sealed. But here is Miriya. I guess it's sort of like saying Miriya, but yeah, I can't say her name. But this is the good guy version of her with the green hair, and she's got this helmet, and helmet can go on like so if you want to put it on. But there's a lot of girls in this line. There's like pretty much equal guys to girls. Because like what we don't have in the collection for the guys are Scott Bernard, Ray Fokker, Lunk, and Max Sterling. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys and 5 girls on the good guy team. Yeah, that helmet fits on pretty nice. Pretty cool there. And they're all after Rick Hunter. No, I don't think Dana Sterling ever... Does she ever? I don't think she ever goes after Rick. I think it's mostly Lisa Hayes and Lynn Min-May. Min-May. She likes Rick. Well, here we got Dana Sterling, of course. I was just talking about her. I don't think she ever goes for Rick, if I remember correctly. It's been a long, long time since I've seen any of these cartoons. I found it on Tubi, T-U-B-I, and was shocked that they even have the remastered version on Tubi. So you can see the original or the remastered. And here's Lisa Hayes. One thing I noticed about Lisa, I mean, this is a great... She's also a pilot. She's a great pilot suit. But what I noticed is for the pilot for Miriya is the same... At least the chest, the torso is the same, if not the whole figure itself. Except for the head, you know. So they reused a lot of parts in this line. But really nice paint. I like the way they did this stuff. Let's check out her date stamp. China. She's a China one. No, she's Japan. Look at that. She's a Harmony Gold Japan one Matchbox. And Miriya is that also Japan? I think so. So that's interesting. Okay. So I guess you could have got a mix from all over the place at the same time. She's also Japan. Huh. Okay. Yeah, just it's interesting to me that they were, you know, made in China and Japan at the same time, and then later on made by Exo Squad, made by Playmates. You know, it's just it's a weird history, this line of figures and vehicles. Maybe it was just the figures that were done Matchbox and Harmony Gold, and then by the time because it wouldn't make sense for these figures to be mixed in with Exo Squad. So maybe by the time they got to Exo Squad, they were only making the vehicles and not the figures. But going with the bad guys, here's the difference. So you got some 6-inch figures in the bad guys. And they're done exactly like G.I. Joe figures. They're just like giant versions of G.I. Joe figures, which is crazy. You got the Kung Fu grip pivot arm there, and you got, you know, the waist and the legs the same way. But this guy's got these huge cowls coming off the back of his coat, you know, and it kind of limits the movement of his legs, but it's, whatever. But it's just interesting that this is the only one I had that we have of the 6-inch, an example right now. This is Khyron, the evil leader, and he doesn't look that evil to me. He's kind of like smiling and everything. And yeah, we'll have to... Here's his date stamp on the back. Here, we'll check this out. That's also Japan. So I guess I was wrong in the beginning. I thought most of these were from China, but I guess they came from Japan. So and there's only a few that came from China. Whatever. I guess I had it backwards, maybe. So here's the Robotech Master. So he's one of the Master guys. And it's interesting the way his legs are done in there. You know, like Star Wars figures and stuff would do a solid piece down there, you know, like the Emperor and stuff. But these they actually put a shell around movable legs. And he's got 3 screws in the back holding them together on this particular one. So it's an interesting design choice, the way they did this figure. To have a long cloak, you know. Because his legs seriously don't need to move because you can't ever sit him down, you know. So here's Zor Prime, like, out of the box. We saw Zor Prime in the box. Now we have one out of the box. Now, I could have swore in the show, you know, they said on the back of the box that he became obsessed with destroying the entire Robotech Master Society, that he switched to be a good guy. But on the front of the packaging, they still insist that he's a bad guy. But I could have swore that Zor Prime switched to be a good guy. But I could be totally wrong. I could be misthinking something. Or maybe he stayed a bad guy, but he was like against the RDF and against the Robotech Masters. You know. like he wanted to be in control of the Robotech Masters, or in a sense, or something like that. Like destroy them, but then still be a bad guy and take over the universe in his own way. Maybe that's what it was. So the foot soldiers of the Robotech Masters, the enemies, were these purple dudes, which are kind of like the pilots. They're micronized Zentraedi. The Zentraedi is the bad guys, the Zentraedi warriors, who are the Robotech Masters and stuff like that. So the Zentraedi warriors here, these micronized Zentraedi warriors, were sort of like the foot soldiers, and they were more like the pilots. I kind of like their design. I like the knee, how they move, and the shoulder pads are there. I think that's kind of cool. They look neat, just being green-skinned and have purple outfits with this neat little helmet thing that pops on. I mean, the front looks a little weird, but the helmet looks pretty cool from the side and the back. It's kind of neat. It's just an interesting design, you know. But only one of them has the helmet again. None of the bad guys have their weapons. So I've had to order some. I've ordered some weapons and parts off of eBay. But look, this one's from China. So we got a China one here. China again, and China again. So yeah, it's just interesting how this worked out. But like I said, this kind of got me hooked on them, and I've ordered Scott Bernard, I've ordered Roy Fokker and Max Sterling. The other ones seem to be expensive, especially Lunk. He's like hundreds of dollars if you can even find him. And I got to get a Dolza, at least, and probably a Bretai. But then the other ones I pretty much have I'm pretty happy with what I got. Bioroid. These are Bioroid Terminators. They're kind of like, I guess these are truly the foot soldiers, you know. The Zentraedi warrior guys, those would be pilots, I think. So I'd put them in the battle pod driving that, or other vehicles, where these are actually the foot soldiers I would have running around on the ground. Now I noticed this is the one big difference I noticed. So here's one made in Japan, and we have this other one that is made in China. And in this case, we have the same figure made in two different locations. And I noticed a big difference between these, at least in the head sculpts and the way the heads are painted in the head sculpts. The Japan one is now on the right, and the China one is on the left. And I don't know if you can see it, but the head almost looks like a different size. The eyes are definitely painted different sizes. I mean, to me, it's like that. There's something totally different between the China one on the left and the Japan one on the right. And they even the Chinese one on the left seems a little smaller, daintier, even all the way around. So it's interesting. You know, so there are going to be some variations if you have the same figure, I think, from the two different locations. But the Bioroid Terminators are just kind of neat looking. I mean, they're a really cool thing to army build. And obviously this kid did that, you know, and with these, even with Rick Hunter, you know, for some reason. But, or they got them when they were $4 for $1 just to fill out. And maybe that's why he still has the helmet and stuff of one of them, one of the Zentraedi, you know, I don't know. I have no idea, really. I'm just speculating randomly. But like I said, this got me hooked on these things. I've ordered some of the figures that I still need, I found on eBay, and I've ordered them. They're not that expensive. They're not that bad compared to other toy lines. You can actually find packaged figures still for $20, $25 in some cases. Except for, like I said, Lunk and a few other individuals who must have been really rare and really hard to find even when they were first coming out. But aside from those rare ones, you can find most of the collection for in the $20 to $30 range, some of them $40, still in the packaging. So, I mean, and then loose ones less than that. You know, the tough thing is finding their weapons. And I found a place called Go Figure on eBay, and they had a lot of the weapons, and we were able to make a really good deal on them, and I got a bunch coming to sort of fill this out at least with weapons, if not all their helmets and other gear. I think I got one helmet for someone, and then a bunch of weapons for these guys. And like I said, I've got a few other characters, Scott Bernard, Roy Fokker, and Max Sterling, coming. So I'll be able to fill out some more of these pilots, especially because I think Max Sterling is the one that goes with the Robotech fighter that I have. I think on the side of the fighter it says M. Sterling, so that's his Robotech Veritech fighter. So when I get him, that's when I'll do the Robotech fighter, because it looks like he's the pilot for that particular one. Alrighty, I guess that's about it then, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you liked this run through. I know I'm not an expert. I have no idea most of the time what I'm talking about with these. So you guys in the comments below can actually fill me in on a lot of the details. And please do so. I mean, what did I get wrong? I mean, what are some things that are more interesting than what I covered? You know, put them in the comments below and fill my head with knowledge, because I have no... Like I said, I remember watching the cartoon. I really like these figures. I remember wanting some of this stuff when I was a kid, but I never got it. And now that I have it, I'm blown away. This stuff is really cool, especially the army builder guys. I really like these Zentraedi warriors and the biotech guys. You know, they're really cool. And the pilots for the good guys, Rick Hunter, Lisa Hayes. I like the style of the pilots. I think they're pretty cool with the helmets. You know, so I'm liking this line. I think it's really cool. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll talk to you guys again tomorrow. See you later.